Hey y'all, it's Natalie. Happy International Scrapbooking Weekend. I hope you guys are having so much fun playing with the message board challenges, and I have a new one that I want to offer up to you guys. The challenge is a DIY background layout challenge. So I want you to create your own background. So that's what I'm doing here today. I have those pictures of my dog Lola. I have the Heart Eyes collection by Simple Stories, which is it came out around Valentine's Day, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a Valentine's collection. So I picked out a few papers that were not overtly Valentine's themed, and I have these photos of Lola smelling the flowers, and so I wanted to use the flower papers, and so I'm going to fussy cut this big one out, and then I'm going to create a mixed media background. Now, if you think this challenge isn't for me because I don't like mixed media, don't think that, because you can definitely create your own background without mixed media, because you can do like all kinds of paper piecings and different things on a background page. Just as long as your background is not like a full sheet of one solid like pattern paper, then I think that would count, right? So this challenge won't be combined with any other challenges. I would love to see what creative, clever background that you can come up with. The prize for this challenge is Let's Create in a Day in the Life collection by ACOT. And so there'll be a folder in the gallery that you can upload to if you complete this, and tag me too, because I'd love to see it. I hope you guys are so inspired. I'm going to have a lot of my layouts also posted as inspiration of other layouts that I've created backgrounds for. Some mixed media and some not. So let me know if you have any questions, but I'm using my favorite large punch. It's a large scallop punch by EK Success. I'll link down below with that in the description. But I am using that as like some fluffy layers. And then I'm also going to use my Distress Oxide ink. So this white cardstock has clear gesso all over it. And you'll see me start creating with some of that ink later. But please know I do have clear gesso all over the page. So you will need that clear gesso if you're going to manipulate the ink or the paint or whatever you put on it with some water after you add it to the page. Otherwise, it'll kind of soak right into the page, and you won't be able to do anything much with it after you get it onto the page. So that is why I use gesso. So I did the scallop punch on this paper, and then I realized that all my hearts were upside down. So I set that aside to use later, and then I flipped my paper and cut it again to be in the proper direction. So I wanted this black piece to kind of break up the colors of the other pieces, so you can kind of see the more defined scallops. So this is kind of the idea I'm going with the scallops down and at the bottom, and then I'll do the mixed media more at the top. So I think I'm going to go ahead and remove everything and start with the mixed media. Now, I've done this technique before. I might even have it in one of my examples, but I just kind of smoosh it, the Distress Oxide onto the gessoed paper and get the lot of ink on there. So I'm going to kind of keep the shape of the pad, which is a square, but you could also add the ink to any shape, a stamping block or a really large stamp, and get the same effect. Then I just spritz it all with water and then go in with my paintbrush and kind of move it around a little bit, make it seem a little more organic looking. And now I'm going in with Evergreen Bough, because in the floral fussy cut bit there was like this darker green blue color, and so once I get some water in here, it will dilute it a little bit and make it closer to that color. And then I'm going to also go in with picked raspberry and spun sugar, and so that's a bright pink and a light pink. And so I really love how the Distress Oxides are kind of smearing, and then I add a little bit of splatter, and they'll kind of run into one another, and that's kind of the joy I get out of using these Distress Oxides on a background. The other layout that I did with these, I just stamped them all the way across the page, like in a stacked manner, and that was also really fun to have them run into one another, just as long as you don't put two next to each other that are gonna like create a messy brown, unless you want brown, and then that will work. Even that pink one, I kind of like overlapped them because I knew they would look really nice when they ran into one another. And I am leaving a little blank space up in the top left. I will put a little bit of embellishment up there. So that little spritzer from Tim Holtz is something that I use all the time. Even the pink mixed with that like evergreen bough gives a really cute little look. You can see them kind of running into one another right now. I love how the orange and pink run into each other. super fun. But please don't be afraid of this background challenge, because you do not have to do mixed media. There's so many things. You can create all kinds of different collage looks with different pattern papers with die cuts and everything. So this is a mostly dry layout. You'll see in a minute why I say mostly dry, because it's still a little bit wet, but that's okay. It's mostly dry here. So now I'm going to start figuring out exactly how I do want my papers. I kind of already had a little bit of an idea, but now I'm going to kind of cement it. I will actually move the photos around a little bit. And these are my old girl smelling the flowers. It was really windy that day and she needed a haircut. So her hair is kind of blowing in the wind. And then she went and got a haircut like the next day. So she's looking cute right now. We're about to take her out of town with us. So I wanted her to be fresh and clean. She's running around the house right now, freaking out because she thinks that we're leaving her, but she doesn't understand that we're taking her with us. But this is kind of the look I'm going for, layering up those scallops so they peek out from underneath the next one, and also in the little cracks of the other ones. So I will kind of remove everything off and start sticking it down with my ATG gun. And yeah, that's what we're doing. I'm loving the way this looks, and I love this collection. I've used it multiple times without it being like a Valentine's layout. I think that it's really cute for a Valentine's page, but it also works really well with plenty of layouts that were not Valentine's. So this is why I said my paper wasn't completely dry, because I'm going to add some black splatter, but you can see on some of the areas where I add the black splatter, the splatter kind of spreads, and that's because that area wasn't completely dry, and so it doesn't give a really simple flat splatter, but it kind of blended in a little bit, but that's okay. I'm cool with that. That looks fine to me. I use that You're My Favorite sticker from this Simple Stories Hard Eye sticker sheet. And now I'm just going to go in and add a couple of those scallops up at the top to close up that white space and kind of bring the scallops from the bottom into the top for some cohesion. And then I'm going to use a few more stickers from that sticker sheet to add embellishment to the page, and we're going to call it a layout. I hope you guys are super inspired. I would love to see you create your own background. If you do, upload it to the gallery and into the challenge thread. Do it in the challenge folder and in the thread, and that way it'll be in two places and we'll know you're entered, and you'll have a chance to win the Echo Park Let's Create and Day in the Life collection kit, which is super cute. And thank you to A Cherry on Top for sponsoring this. I'm going to leave down below with my affiliate link. I know everyone always wants to know about that scallop EK Success Punch, so I'll link that down below. Let me know if you guys have any questions and play along with us. Bye.